So I just thought I'd do a little addendum to kind of some of the electrical stuff. I know there's been a lot of videos out on making a power pack and inverters and the whole thing. Those are great. Personally, I don't see the point a whole lot of converting to 120 volts from 12, 14 volt DC to 120 volts AC and then back and losing heat, losing energy. To me, you're just giving away power. So I try to keep everything low voltage DC whenever we can. So I've rewired some stuff in here. As you can see, we're doing this cost-effective solution like I talked about before. So this solar control is about $120. These are about $10 a piece for these nice heavy-duty fuses. These batteries are just, you know, from Wally World, about $100 a piece. The nice part about that is they can exchange them at any Walmart around the country. The bad part about it is they don't have all the performance of a lithium ion. They don't have the weight savings. They don't have that. Absolutely correct. But I've got $300 into the whole thing, not $1,800 like some people are putting into these things. So, as you may or may not know, we've gotten quite a bit of rain in California this year. We've developed some moisture inside the trailer, which is bound to happen. So I went on trusty Amazon, got one of these little dehumidifiers. It's been working great. It's been pulling quite a bit of water out of the air in here. The problem is it's got our pesky transformer with it. But if I look at the back of this thing, it says it's only taking 2.5 amps at 9 volts DC is what this whole thing is making. We have household current, so for right now it's plugged in. But I thought there's got to be a better solution. So I looked at different things and making different things here and there. I know that we have a 12 volt socket right here. I installed this where we have USB 3 and the USB-C. We have two of those with the little power switch there. So I thought, let's keep this low voltage. We kept the lights low voltage, we kept the fridge low voltage, everything is low voltage. So I bought this handy little thing on Amazon for about $13, I think. I already had this plug, so I just wired it to this plug. A little positive and negative here. I put a quick disconnect on there in case I want to plug it in for something else. But I mean, you can see I put the screws in here and connected the plug. This is literally all I've done. So we're going to stick it in here and see what we get. So we've got right now 5 volts, so which is typical for USB. That's pretty handy. Now you can see we have an in and out, on and off, and we have some voltage controllers here. So I can just click up on this. I can increase this up to whatever I want. It says I'm supposed to do this with no load on it, so that's why I don't have anything plugged in there yet. I overshot my 9 volts. So I'm going to come back down to 9. I'm just going to set this exactly at 9. Okay, so that's all set up for 9 volts. Now before I connect anything on this side, just for safety's sake, I'm going to disconnect this. So this is out. What am I going to do here? Obviously I need to disconnect this guy first. That would be really bad if I cut through this. Maybe not really bad, but still not a great idea. I may have to splice this back together if it doesn't work. Sometimes I do things that don't work. That's okay, I'm used to it. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I'm gonna make a lot more. So I unplug this. Just gonna cut this wire. Take our plug in. I probably should get a tester and test to make sure I have the polarity correct. But I've got a stripe on this side and no stripe on this side. You can see the stripe. We're gonna assume that that is the negative with the stripe on there, and the negatives are the outside and the inside is the positive. Actually, if you look at the back of a transformer here, it will actually show you the polarity of the plug, so you can see. So I'm just gonna pull this apart, strip these wires real quick, put it in here, and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so you can see I've just stripped these wires. I actually plugged it in, tested it, and I was wrong about my guess on the polarity. So always good to check. So I switched these around. The stripe was actually on the positive. So we're just gonna plug this guy in here. Okay, we hear a beep, which is a good sign. Turn it on. Dehumidifier's running. Awesome, now it's running off the batteries, off the solar panels. So no longer do we need shore power for anything. We could have our dehumidifier running all the time wherever we want. Now the beauty of this is, we have, as you know, if you watch my videos, I'm a ham radio operator. So every single accessory seems to have slightly different voltage and amperage requirements. So the Yaesu radio, thankfully, are 12 volt, which is pretty cool. We can just come straight into it. But this will regulate the power supply a little bit as well. The Baofengs, I believe, are about a 7.5 volt. Something else is a 6 volt. USB is a 5 volt. So everything's different. So I'm going to put another quick disconnect plug like this on this side, and then an adapter to all different prongs for all of my different radios, all my different DC requirements. So when we're out and about, I may actually end up mounting this somewhere, probably recess it in a cabinet so it looks nice, you know, not just sitting out in here with wires and stuff like that. But the beauty of this is very, very easily I can adjust voltage any one of my different appliances. I don't have to carry around a lot of stuff. Look at the heat sink on this compared to the heat sink on any inverter or any of those things. This is tiny. This is about the size of my thumbnail. So I'm not losing very much in electricity and heat. And that's the reality of all those 12 volt to 120 volt and then back to 12 volt AC to DC. We're losing power in heat. I don't like losing things. I like to use every bit of everything we have. So there's a little project for today. I'll probably show it later on when I've got some more adapters and stuff like that. But now we're completely independent of the grid, which we like as well. Have a good one.